Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about one singular movie, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But first, I always gotta invite you, yes, you, the listener, to join in on the fan vote. That's right, we always are wanting more fan recommended movies to put on our fan vote list. So if you want to add a movie to the list, either write a comment in the latest episode of Film Freaks with a Z, or send us an email at ff.filmfreaks with a Z at the end at gmail.com, or talk in the movie stuff section of my personal Discord, the Ferret Nation Discord. You can also request movies there. The votes take place during Tay's episode, which will be in about 4 weeks-ish now. So make sure if you want a movie on the next vote, you can request one today, and it will get on that vote. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am Yemmy the Ferret. Who am I here with?
Greedy Waffles.
And we have
OdomK. Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
He's messing it up already. Yeah, we're here with a special guest today, Odom. Say hello, Odom.
Hi, I'm Odom.
He's known for his punctual timing and no. Odom, he draws stuff on Twitch, right? You could call him an artiste.
Artiste?
And he's also been playing a bout of video games as well.
Oh yeah, I've been spamming that, just trying to rest my wrist because I have been drawing a lot.
Now, how much wrist rest do you get when you're playing Mortal Shell?
I mean, I'm just using the fingers, man. I don't know how you hold controllers, but my wrists are kind of stationary.
See, you're 360 no scoping with the mouse. Your wrist is going crazy.
You play that game with mouse and keyboard?
Oh,
I mean, I did.
All right. I don't know. I mean, I've played Souls-like games with mouse and keyboard, and they're fun. But I don't know. There's something very nostalgic about playing it with a controller.
yeah, there are like different games that are you have to play with the controller, you have to play the keyboard.
Right.
Well, as listeners may have noticed, we're down 2 people today, which Odom has the double curse because when Odom originally came onto the podcast to talk about The Hobbit with us, and that was a while ago now. I think that was like episode 20-ish, something around there. Everyone was there for it, and the curse of one person being gone per guest on the podcast kind of started after Odom's episode. So Odom's back, and we're down 2 people. Now, Tay may join midway through the podcast if he wakes up in time, but don't count on it. But right now we're down Callus with internet troubles, and we're down Tay with sleeping in. But we are here to give you that great Film Freaks experience that you deserve, and I think we're going to do a great job because today's movie is one that obviously I love a lot. But let's get into the conversation about it. My pick was Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis. And the story is about a toon star named Roger Rabbit who is worried that his wife, Jessica Rabbit, is playing patty cake with someone else. So the studio director hires Eddie Valiant to snoop on her. But the stakes are quickly raised when Marvin Acme is found dead and Roger Rabbit is the prime suspect. And this movie stars Bob Haskins, Christopher Lloyd, Joanna Cassidy, Charles Fleshisher, Lou Harrish, and actually Mel Blanc is also in this as doing voice work for the Looney Tunes characters. So normally the person who picks the movie, of course, starts the conversation, and I think the obvious place to start here, and I'm sure you guys will agree, is the animation mixing with the real world. Still pretty impressive to this day, and thinking about all that they did for the movie back in, this one came out in the 80s.
88.
It's really impressive thinking back then. It's like, this is the 80s that they were doing this stuff in. And I actually watched the behind the scenes before coming on the podcast today, and they actually had the one that impressed me the most. They had this rig where they had like a robotic arm holding the baby's cigar, and essentially the cigar was moving with the robotic hand, and the robotic hand was being controlled by a power glove type device with the guy's hand, and it would just mimic what he was doing. It was really super impressive, and they just animated over that. They also had like, Roger was like a prop rabbit. People were holding him and moving him around. And then they also had a similar rig for when the Weasels are holding like the guns and stuff like that, or the Tommy gun too. Like I said, it's just very impressive, especially for the time. And I think it actually blends really well. Besides from, I think like the far away shots are the only ones that are like kind of, you can tell the animation is just kind of like not working super well with the real world. But I think for the most part, it works really well. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was very on par too, and there was some spots like you mentioned where it was like, but it was nothing like out like outrageous. I mean, there's movies coming out in 2020 or 2022 and 2021 that we think we have like this high end technology, and they're more rough than Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I'm pretty sure if movies like that came out today, it's like, could they get it as close as good as it was back in when this came out in 1988? I don't think so. I would hope they could, but I just feel like the quality of it would not be the same compared to like an 1988 movie. And I know Callis wanted to talk about, but the lady, I can't think of her name right now.
Jessica.
Jessica was probably the best thing. Like, it was impressive the most.
Boobas.
Oobas.
I was just gonna ask, what's so impressive about her? And yeah, I think we all know.
No, yeah, I mean they did a good job like all around with just having the actors work with practically nothing in front of them, right? They had the voice actor saying the line for the character, but the animation was all obviously post production stuff. And it like, you see a movie like Space Jam: The Lost Legacy, or even Space Jam from the '90s. You go back and watch that movie, and it's not like super good anymore. Like when you're a kid, you're like, oh wow, this is great. But when you watch it again, you're like, it's not as good. Space Jam: The Lost Legacy I thought just kind of looked bad all around. It wasn't even just like the humans interacting with the fake stuff, but that's a that's a different
that's a good thing.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comparison of what I was trying to say. Is like movies like that now. It's just like they don't care or something. I don't know.
Well, they take like the lazy way out, instead of having like physical props for the actors to work with, they'll have to like pantomime everything, or I don't know. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know. It's disappointing to see now, because when you look back at Roger Rabbit, it just looks so fluid together, and then you see stuff now. It's like CG and effects, and they do like a 5 minute like actual animated scene in the new Space Jam movie, and that still doesn't look that good altogether. I don't know.
No, I
How do you
agree.
feel?
When I was watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the entire time I was thinking, was there green screen technology back then? Because how are they doing all of this? There was one scene, I forgot who the character was, but there was kind of a camera rotation going on, and one of the cartoons, I believe it was Valiant actually. Yeah, Valiant was holding one of a cartoon, and as he was turning around, I noticed. I guess the cartoon figure was drawn in between his hands, and it just looked very detailed. And I was like, that has to be a green screen kind of thing. Like, what else could it be? That's what I wanted to ask you when you were talking about watching the behind the scenes stuff. They didn't have green screen things or
No.
technology, did
Yeah,
they?
they
None at all,
literally
right?
animated over like the metal. Like I was talking about the metal hand. They actually animated over that metal hand with the cigar in it.
Yeah.
And speaking of special effects, we got our correspondent for CGI and special effects. Tay has joined the podcast.
Hello.
Oh,
Tay,
Good
Hello.
morning, Tay.
welcome in, Tay. Good morning.
good morning.
How'd you sleep? A little
Too
closer
long.
to the mic there, buddy.
Yeah, sorry.
He's
Yeah, no,
he's groggy. He's groggy.
I'm very groggy. I don't know. Lately, I've just been sleeping for too long. I don't know what's going on.
Well, Tay, we're
Um,
we're happy that you could join us.
yeah.
I was really getting worried there that we were going to have to do a three-way this whole time, but I'm glad that we got you in here.
I don't like
Oh.
being in the middle, Tay. Come on, man.
Now it evens out for Odom.
I'm still in the middle, Tay. Damn
I
it.
can leave if you want.
That doesn't change anything. No, anyways. Yeah, nice to have you, man.
But
Thank you.
Tay, we were just talking about the animation mixed with the real world stuff in there, and Odom was having question. He had a question about the green screen, which I don't think they used in the movie at all. I think it was all just the animation was drawn in and placed over the movie film.
So I actually looked this up because while I was watching it, I was like, did they use green screen? And they did.
Ah.
Yeah, because I was like, I didn't think of course green screen. I mean, we've seen Indiana Jones,
Mhm.
whatever one we watched, there was green screening in that. It was bad, but but yeah, they did use green screen for this.
Yeah, it wasn't a ton though. If they obviously did a lot better with the green screen than Temple of Doom, because in Temple of Doom, like you could see like the
Mhm.
green around Indiana Jones's hat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't like super. I mean, I didn't notice it at all. That's why I said like it seems like the animation was pretty much just fit in over everything, because it
Right.
just doesn't seem like there's green screen going on because it doesn't. It's not noticeable.
Yeah, I think when he's in the animation world or Toontown, and I think pretty sure that's all green screen.
Oh well, I mean, I guess that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, that one was. And then you could see it a little bit whenever someone had to interact, like they were trying to hold something.
Yeah, we were
Like,
just talking
Like,
about
the
this.
rabbit. Yeah.
yeah, like or the holding that like hammer thing, or
Mhm.
it was a little obvious there, but
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that they were holding like a fake object, but I think it actually blended pretty well with,
for sure.
the application was well done with what they had.
Yeah, especially for 1988.
Yeah, it was very fluid.
And I had this question for Odom prepared. How hard do you think it was to? Because they got to be animating at 60 frames, right? Because it's 60 seconds, a minute.
Right.
How difficult would that be for just from your experience of just kind of drawing regular pictures? I mean, is there like how difficult would that be?
Well, I read somewhere. I think like the beginning parts of the movie, the whole animation with baby, what's his name, Herman
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herman. That took 9 months itself.
Ooh,
So it takes a
geez.
while. Yeah, it takes a long time, and the fact that these are all hand drawn things. I don't think there was I don't think there was any kind of digital art going on there.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
it, yeah, it takes a while, dude. That definitely takes a while, and a
Yeah.
lot of money as well.
No, I doubt it was at 60 frames. It was probably just 24 because uh, films, Hollywood films are usually.
Take closer to the mic.
Mike's so close already. Um,
Tay
yeah,
was
so
saying they probably are doing more like 25 per second.
or 24.
24.
Just because most Hollywood films are actually shot at 24 frames per second.
Okay, well that lightens the load a little bit, but I think it's still
A little bit,
a
yeah.
lot of work though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely. Oh, definitely. Like I said, yeah, 9 months. That doesn't surprise me. Just for
Uh,
the baby Herman.
And I don't. Do you kind of notice that clashing with, I guess, like the live action? Like how maybe the animation is a little bit off than how the real people were moving and things in the real world were moving. Did that bother you guys at all?
No.
It seemed like there was like a little lag, like they, because it's animation, because it's not really there. Like the actual people were like, they crash into them, and then you kind of see them like pause there for a second and
Mhm.
then move, kind of like But it was so quick, it didn't bother me.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it at all, honestly.
Yeah, I say it didn't bother me. I did notice it, but it didn't bother me.
Now, if you were to see something like that in movies of today's age, it would bother you a lot,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Because of
definitely.
technology and everything.
Oh yeah.
So, do you think we're giving Who Framed Roger Rabbit a little bit of leeway when it comes to that.
I mean,
Like,
I
sure, it
think
wasn't.
Yeah,
I
for
no,
1988. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say no because I think it still looks good even by today's standards. In that aspect, I mean, like we were talking about before, we I mean, we have Space Jam: Lost Legacy coming out last year, and I
Mhm.
thought that game, that movie did a really poor job with the animation and real life mixed in with each other. And this movie, I mean, sure, I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Trust me, I got a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I think
Okay.
I think it works so much better than something that came out last year. It's crazy, and I don't think I'm giving it too much leeway because even when I was watching the movie, I didn't really notice when you know like a millisecond of lag would be there between the guy being punched in the face by the tune or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I might be giving it a little leeway just because, yeah, it came out in 1988.
Yeah, I
Um,
would have to agree there.
yeah, like, I mean, I saw the new Space Jam, and I don't think they did a horrible job animating with the live action people.
Do you
So,
think? Do you think? Look, since we're using Space Jam, the newer Space Jam, do you think the animation or the animated people or surroundings meshed well with the real life better than Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Because I got to agree with Yemmy that even with today's standards, I feel like Who Framed Roger Rabbit's cohesiveness between the real life and the animated portions of the movie, they just meshed really, really well.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
completely with that. And it's something about Space Jam just feeling way more corporate, and I feel like they didn't have the time to really finesse and put it together the way that they wanted to. And I think that
I
really
agree
took a
with that.
toll on, whatever the fuck the name is, Space Jam.
Yeah. No, Who Framed Roger Rabbit definitely put a lot more care and like love into like I'm just thinking of the scene between Daffy and Donald playing the piano. And like
Yeah.
you see, just the bench and the chair like rocking back and forth as he's bouncing around
The keys on the
and
Yeah.
piano actually playing when they're touching them,
yeah, which was probably just two-player piano, but
probably. But hey, I
but
mean,
it worked. No,
yeah,
it worked. And yeah, there's just a lot of little things like that that you can
things
tell they
getting
were just
things
like,
getting blown up while the tune's going through it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you just see like they made sure the real world interacted, just small little things were interacting with the tunes.
Yeah, it was
They
very,
did,
very seamless.
yeah, so they definitely put a lot more care and love into Who Framed Roger Rabbit than they did Space Jam. But
I think that all
which is,
comes down to it being just it's more of a corporate thing.
oh
They're
yeah,
they're trying, like, people were wanting a new Space Jam for years and years and years, and they finally bent their knee. And what it ended up being was, hey, here's all the properties we have that we can use. Here's Game of Thrones, and here's Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and the Iron Giant, and it gets to be a little bit too much, and like the message of the first movie kind of gets lost in the second movie. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Don't forget about LeBron James. And here's LeBron James.
Yeah, here's LeBron James. But I guess that kind of leads us to the craziness of the fact that Looney Tunes and Disney were working together for this movie. Daffy, Porky Pig, and Bugs Bunny are all in this movie, and they're all owned by WB
yeah,
and not Disney, which was the people who I'm pretty sure worked on it with Disney.
yeah. No, they came together and worked. I don't know how much was like who had the bigger share, I guess, with the
I
workload
think Disney did because
Yeah.
the
probably because it's on Disney Plus. So
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a ride at one of the Disney places.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So but
You
yeah,
think
they definitely worked with Warner Brothers to get them in here.
Well, that's
think
crazy
they'll
because
do something like that ever again?
no, that's what I
Yeah,
was about to say. I don't think they'll ever do something like that again.
yeah,
Now it's
definitely.
all you suck. No, I suck. No, you suck.
I mean, it still does kind of happen. Sony and Disney working together, but I don't. It's never going to be like. I don't think it's going to be as big with properties like Bugs and Mickey.
If it ever happens, it's going to happen on Fortnite.
Oh,
Oh God.
it already has.
There's no Looney Tunes in Fortnite.
You're right. Not yet. That's
All right.
that's coming. I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean that's like one of the biggest things about when this movie came out. Like that was the first time that officially, like, because people do fan stuff all the time, right? But
Yeah.
officially, those the two characters being on screen at the same time had never happened before, and yeah, like I honestly don't think it'll happen again unless there's like some crazy big monopoly type merger, but you never know. I mean,
Never know.
Yeah. I hope not.
But going off of what Yemmy was saying about craziness, speaking of that, like every scene, just had craziness in it. Which was some of your funny, like I don't want to say like your favorite funny scene, crazy scenes, but like what was some of your favorite like crazy scenes? I guess I'm trying to say.
well, I mean, I always point to the ending where merry-go-round broke down and Valiant's singing and dancing and the weasels are all dying from laughter.
Yeah.
I always love that, and I love the weasels as characters. I think they're like some of the greatest sidekicks villains ever, just because of their designs are so unique and they always are just funny to watch. But they're also very threatening. I mean, the guy was waving a real gun around it, and they shot the door open for Valiant's place. But yeah, that final scene though with the merry-go-round broke down. It was a nice runaround because Roger was listening to that same song in the bar like a day or so ago before that happened. Um, and yeah, I just think it's a fun all together scene. What about you guys?
I was like, for me, I don't know. It's been so like I just watched it, but also it's like
Well, you
as a
said
kid.
you think let Odom
Okay,
let's hear from Odom.
that's fair.
All right. I think like when I was rewatching the movie, more than laughing or anything like that, there was just like a lot of I forgot how adult it was. Like there's a lot of sexual innuendos and things like that. And I think the scene that was kind of chaotic to me, but might not be chaotic to you is when Valiant ran into baby Herbert Herman in the I guess it was an apartment area, and
It was
he
outside
had
his
like his
office.
outside his office, right? And he had the caretaker with him or whatever, and it's like a lady in short shorts.
Hmm.
That kind of shocked me a lot. Like I don't remember that I didn't remember that or seeing that when I was younger. And so when I saw it, I was like, what the hell's happening here? What if my girlfriend walks in? She'll ask what I'm watching. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that to be in the show. And I think
Well,
that was the most kind of chaotic thing.
my counterpoint to that is this is obviously a period piece along with being like a detective story slash whatever. So
Hmm.
I can kind of forgive the movie for like some of the sexist stuff that happens in there because they are emulating that. I don't know, it was like a 20s or 30s type
Oh, yeah.
culture that was at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time. So when he smacks her ass and she's like, and he's like, hey, give me
Yeah.
a beer, toots, and like I can kind of be like, okay, it is the time, the 20s or whatever, the
Yeah,
30s,
the age is
40s.
showing, right?
40s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was 43, I think. It said at the beginning.
But it's also kind of a fun scene because Valiant like tries to push him down the stairway.
Yeah,
He's murdering a child. Yeah, yeah. That was
that's Toon Child. It won't. You could drop a piano on it.
That's right. It wasn't dip. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like a lot of shocking parts to that one scene alone. Like you had a huge plot point there. You had an interaction between a child and like an older lady. You had uh
The line about I've got the libido of a 50-year-old and
yeah,
the
and the pee or
of a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that was so funny. It was a great scene
Yeah,
for
it
me.
was
I
a good
loved it.
scene.
Yeah, I liked it a
It's a
lot.
really good scene.
Yeah, throughout the
Uh,
entire movie, my fiance kept mentioning that the movie was scaring her, and I'm like, I don't remember being scared by the movie, but I can definitely see the scenes where it's like, okay, so like when the judge is like blowing himself back up after being flattened, or the whole part
Yeah.
with the shoe being dipped is like also pretty visceral.
terrifying.
That was
Yeah.
brutal.
So
Even like
it
the
is
characters
much,
in the movie turn their face and everything, right?
yeah.
Poor Shu. Shu didn't deserve that.
So it is kind of kind of got some frightening elements in there for sure.
Yeah, but why did they murder the shoe? Because
He just wanted to
just
show the dip. Also, they had they had to show that the judge was like kind of unhinged.
Yeah. Assert the dominance kind of thing.
Tay, did you think of a scene that was your favorite in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole movie. I really liked the scene at the bar,
Good scene.
where just a lot of it when they're they come in. Roger Rabbit's singing the song. He gets angry, throws him in the room, and then the judge shows up and does like the shave and a haircut. Two
And-
bits.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. I liked how Valiant was so upset and angry at Roger, and he mentioned that one of the drunks at the bar, or the locals at the bar, would give him away for like a cent or a nickel or something like that. And Roger's like, no, he wouldn't. Not not me. We've been through a lot, even though he just sang for the guy. And then the moment came, and the judge asked the drunk or whatever where Roger was, and yeah, he didn't give him away.
Yeah.
So laughter is pretty powerful, man. That was a good scene. I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they also like the repurposing of the alcohol with Roger
Yeah.
was also
Oh,
well
yeah.
done there too. And Greedy, we need to hear your favorite scene.
Mine, oddly enough, was when Violent was trying to hide Roger from the
Weasels?
weasels, and he just like shoving him down in the water. I was like, is he gonna kill him?
He's a
And
toad.
that was also an intense moment because like I feel like they knew he was in there, but they didn't want to bust him at the same time. I don't know. It was weird. It was chaotic.
Yeah. So, obviously, the judge character in this movie is like, yeah. I honestly, I like the whole like detective vibe. I mean, I think that the scene where Valiant is like interrogating RK Maroon in his office, and he puts his tie into
Ooh.
the film reeling thing. I think that was a great like detective moment scene. Like you could actually take that scene out of the movie, and it could be like good for like a detective show or something like that. Just trying to get the answers out of him. I thought that was a really good scene as well, and I think the mystery in general in the movie is actually pretty well done. Because even though I've watched the movie a million times, it still surprises me like all the different like they give you hints as to what exactly who exactly is running the whole gambit, right? Um, Once again, I knew who was the culprit of everything, and it still kind of surprised me at the end when the judge turns out to be the Toon who killed Valiant's brother. It all kinds of comes full circle in it. I think they did a really good job of writing the story in it for sure.
Also, I was going to talk about how weird the judge like seemed off throughout the movie, but seeing the ending, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Just
all
trying
makes
to hide
sense in the end.
just trying to hide his identity.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd did like an excellent performance. He was really playing. I think everyone was just having fun with the movie, and he put in such a great performance. Like, because when you think of Christopher Lloyd, you go, "Oh, that guy from Back to the Future." Oh, the guy from Food Fight. You you don't
He's
see
been
him.
in
You
so
don't.
much stuff.
Yeah, he was in a lot of. He's obviously in a lot of things, but you never usually see him as the villain character. And I think he did a really good job playing this
Yeah.
villainous Toon.
I like the one scene where he's actually describing the giant like bulldozer with the dip cannon, like that whole just that one scene. I was just like, he just like harnessed his inner Doc for this scene. Like,
Yeah.
That's why they brought
Freeways,
him in.
far as the eye can see. Hotels, gas stations.
More gas stations.
And I like how everyone in the movie's like, "You're insane. No one would ever drive on that."
Yeah. Yeah, they got the red line, and it's for like what, 5 cents? Who would do that?
Ah, but I bought the red line.
Yeah, dude, that character, I think that is my favorite character in that entire show, man. That judge, Christopher Lloyd, he played it so well. He was so maniacal and very deceptive and just evil, dude. In a movie of kind of happiness. Well, not happiness, because in the beginning of the movie,
Smile,
you see how
world,
dark it
just
is.
smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
thinking about smiling and stuff, and like the whole movie's about murder, you
Uh-huh.
know, cheating,
hiding a murder, you know.
alcohol. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It was pretty cool. It's a really well-made movie, man. There's a lot of attributes to it.
Yeah.
Should we jump to the ending? Any other scenes?
Well, Callus would hate us if we didn't talk about Jessica Rabbit a little bit more.
Ah, yes,
Oh.
waifu.
But I think Greedy said it before. The scene where they introduce her, obviously that's supposed to be like a rug pull scene, right? Because even Valiant's like, oh, it's gonna, what are you into? And he's talking to Acme, and he's like, what are you into, rabbits?
Yeah.
And she comes out and she's like, very sexy, busty, legs out. All the guys are coming in loads. Um, honestly, and like I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. I honestly never really found her attractive,
Yeah, no.
personally.
Agreed.
Like, I understand what they're going for, but it's like,
Yeah.
look, I like
It's too much.
yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. I did find the scene funny where Valiant was like reaching down to pick something up, and then he comes back up and he hits hits her in the boob.
Oh
his
yeah.
head.
Yeah.
That's when he gets caught by his girlfriend or whatever, right? With his pants down, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I thought she had some pretty hilarious lines and delivery in there too. One of the lines where she was talking to Valiant, and Valiant was talking about how hard it is to talk to someone that looks like her, and she mentioned she's not bad, she was just drawn that way. That shit cracked me up so hard, dude. Like, someone's got to draw these tunes. Is that how they're made? Who's the drawer?
Acme?
Is it Acme?
It's
Hold on, with my next point redemption, I'm gonna have you draw Jessica.
Dang. All right.
I'll say I've seen people, redraw her or even cosplay as her, and it looks better because it's like, oh look, it's like natural proportions.
Yeah, she definitely has interesting proportions, like crazy small hips, pretty broad shoulders. Well, that was a thing back then, wasn't it? Because everyone liked the whole
Yeah, they had like
shoulder pads. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Maybe I don't know. I was never really into that, but apparently they find that attractive. Yeah, I think she's all right as a character. I'm not gonna say I was
yeah.
ever.
I think her character's fine. I was never like attracted to the character, even when I was a kid. Like, I wasn't interested in her sexually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Trust me, I mean, I like animated girls as much as the next guy, but she just doesn't do it for me.
Cows is gonna come on the podcast next time and just yell at us.
Callus will all of a sudden get internet and barge into our conversation right now.
What did I hear you say?
What do you say about what fool?
One of my favorite lines from the movie, and it's actually the only thing that I put for my review of it on Letterboxd. There's an exchange, like, while Valiant is singing his song at the end of the movie, he kind of messes up and doesn't know what to say after a line, and so Roger's like, so he says, "I'm gonna hit you in the," and then Roger says, "Nose." And the Weasel's like, "Nose? That doesn't rhyme with walls." And then Valiant says, "No, but you know what does?" And then he kicks the Weasel directly in the balls, and he flies up into the dip. And I thought that's like the best line in the whole freaking thing, because even I think everyone was like, "Well, nose? Why is he saying nose? Balls rise with walls," and he kicks him in the balls. It was just such a perfect.
Yeah.
It's a perfect line delivery, and I just like that whole sequence of events there.
Yeah,
Agreed.
little
Yeah, I was
like
unexpected too.
it really was. Well, no, was it? Because the entire movie is pretty kind of raunchy in a way,
Yeah,
man.
that's true. I always found it weird the tune physics, I guess, because like the fact that like he kicks him in the balls and he goes flying like 30 feet into the dip, like, and there was several like things like that where the tune gets hit and they go flying way further than like physics would do. And
Toons
I'm like,
kind of live on a different plane of reality if you think
well,
about
I
it.
know exactly. So it's just like, damn.
Did you like that or did you not like that? Was that break you from your immersion?
I don't. I think it broke me a little bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like when it was a tune doing it to a tune, maybe it was okay. But yeah, it was just weird when a human would do it, or I think sometimes I can't remember now if any human showed weird physics when they got interacting
Well,
with the
the
tune.
entire time in Toontown,
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Well, yeah,
Valiant
Toontown.
was doing a whole bunch of stuff that, like
Yeah.
in the elevator scene. It must just be a way. I mean, look, we're talking about a movie that is obviously very fake, but it's obviously
Yeah.
got to be something with like Toons interacting with humans. Just kind of is weird. Like
Yeah.
if you go to Toontown, you're more apt to be like a Toon, and when Toons come to the real world, they're more apt to interact with humans a little bit differently. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to. Obviously, there's no real science behind it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean I can suspend my disbelief obviously, and I guess the other big thing is like they keep saying how you can't kill Toons, Toons don't die, and the dip is the only way to kill them. Yet obviously the weasels are either they're dying or they're transforming when
I
they
think they're
laughing.
transforming.
Yeah, they must
'Cause-
just be like transforming to a different realm of Toontown or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you even see the one ghost weasel interacts with stuff as he's leaving.
Right.
Yeah, he flipped the switch so the little blasty thing
Yeah.
would go back to Roger and what's her
Well,
face?
the
it's
one
like
weasel was like trying to grab the ghost and like throw him back into the body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so obviously they're still like technically alive, but then maybe they
They're
just go to Toon
different-
heaven. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're a different type of tune now.
Yeah.
Just respawn.
Is that like exclusive to the weasels? The fact that if they laugh too much, they end up dying or dying from laughter, or is that for every tune?
You
think it's-
know,
The weasels specifically.
yeah, I mean they never mention it for any other tunes, but you never really see any other tunes like laughing so much that you would think that they should die.
Right.
It might be a weasel specific thing. I don't know, maybe that's how they were drawn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
their passive trait, I guess.
Acme's like, I need to give them one fatal flaw.
It could be worse. It could be mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jonas
Jumanji.
brother.
All right. Well, yeah.
So, anyone else have anything they want to say before I continue? Or
No, I think I'm. Go ahead.
so, one of my favorite characters when I was a kid in this movie was the the taxi cab guy.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but I think he's still a very fun character, and I love how he said, this movie has a lot of payoffs in it, obviously. And so when Valiant is just like, no, this street is this way, and he holds out his thumb and the car shows up, I thought that was a really nice touch. And actually, the same guy who voices Roger Rabbit does the taxi car, too.
Oh, I had no idea.
I did not know that either.
The cool fun fact.
Yes.
Was there a reason when you were a kid, if you could think about it, if you could recall, why'd you like the taxi the most?
I liked his voice the most. I don't know. I felt like
Oh,
he was
okay.
the most fun character because, he was a car driving a car at one point, and I found that super hilarious when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
And when he's walking around with his like dipped wheels, it kind of looks funny because he's like just kind of like drooping around. But you don't see much of him. But what you do see, I mean, he has one of the biggest action scenes, and it's a car chase, and he's also got one of the best voices in the movie as well.
Let's see, and off of we're going based off, I guess, the original characters from the cartoon, not like WB characters or Disney characters. That's our favorite.
Yeah.
Context of the movie, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I would think is my favorite character. Probably the baby, man. I don't know what it is, but that baby has he's done something to me, man. He messed me up.
Well, I mean, he's the most it's another one of those rug pull scenarios where he's acting like the actual baby at the beginning of the movie, and then as soon as the Roger does the wrong, he has Tweety birds instead of stars,
Oh, I see.
which is also another payoff later in the movie. Um, he turns into that gruff, kind of like complaining, sounding guy, and the voice doesn't match the character, but
Mhm.
that also might be why you love him so much, is because he's just such a weird character.
Yeah, pretty hilarious. I think he was the one that made me laugh the most throughout the entire movie. And I think the movie is funny, like really, really funny, but I wasn't laughing a lot. I was just like kind of smirking, grinning here and there.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
it came to that little baby man, I was cracking up.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a laugh out loud moment where I was like rolling on the floor. And even back when I was a kid, I don't think I like laughed at the movie like that.
Mhm.
I think in general, like watching it now at the ripe age of 28, I think in general, I think I latch more so onto like the whole detective story, and
Yeah.
you kind of have like the goofy nature of it is kind of in the past now, and honestly I think the movie kind of grew up with me. Like when I was a kid, I just loved the animated characters, the interacting with the humans, and now when I'm older, I can appreciate the story, the deep story that's actually going on behind there, with Valiant's brother being killed, and he hates Toons now because of that. And like those are the things you don't pick up on as a kid, but now I really appreciate the different story beats that they touch nowadays.
Yeah. I had never had realized until this watch that that they grew up in the circus. Like their parents were clowns in the circus.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know that either.
so yeah, they were like with Barnum and Bailey or whatever. Then they became
Yeah.
like the funny cops, and then they started the Valiant and Valiant Detective Agency for specifically for Toons,
Yeah.
which it's a really hard. It actually is a pretty powerful moment when Roger is trying to sit in his brother's chair. Like Bob Haskins really put on a good performance. When he yells at him, he's like, "Don't sit there! Stop doing that." And also another really neat thing to mention is when Robert puts his hand on the dusty chair. When he removes
Yeah.
there's actually a handprint in it.
Yeah.
But that is a very I thought that was just such a well acted part of the movie, is when he's expressing that hate toward Toons while also feeling that loss for his brother.
Would you say the more memorable parts of the movie are the more serious parts?
Nowadays, yes. When I was a kid, I'd probably say differently. But I mean, I still think that the merry-go-round broke down at the end is still like the best part of the movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the more memorable scenes are the ones like when Valiant is interrogating RK Maroon. It's when he's interacting with Betty Boop and Acme before the show. It is those moments when it's just a little bit more serious, and the story, like, even though this is supposed to be like a wacky goofy story, it's still super serious at its core, and I think that resonates with me more now than ever.
Yeah. I do like the fact, no, especially towards the beginning, he hates like all Toons. You can tell he hates all Toons, and then he sees Betty Boop, and he immediately is just like, ah, I got a soft spot for Betty Boop.
Yeah. Well, the black and white days are over. See?
Yep.
Gotta make ends meet.
But she still got it.
Yeah, man. The little wink she gave broke my heart, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Waffle, did you give your favorite character or no?
Um, I mean, I liked them all, but I think I just like the Weasels, and I really can't point out like a single one. I just like the whole, their
They're a
silliness.
unit.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just their silliness and just like, I don't want to say like they're dumb, but just like they're like dumb humor, kind of.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, mispronouncing words, hitting,
Yeah.
like making fun of each other, things like
Making
that.
things worse than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Well, the lead Weasel, he's probably the best out of the group in terms of like, he kind of knows what's up, and then everyone else
Yeah.
is just kind of like dumb underlings. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think my favorite Weasel out of the group is actually the one that just has cigarette butts all over him, and it's just like he's kind of like the real big oddball out of the group. Like, even though the one guy is literally in a straitjacket, like this one
Yeah.
dude has smoked so many cigarettes that his fucking fur has turned blue. Like, I don't know what to say. But the weasels, I mean, the weasels are one of the reasons why I like ferrets so much. From
Yeah.
weasels, I went to ferrets. So
There you
Yeah,
go.
makes sense. Yeah, I never. My favorite character, if we're just talking tunes, or
yeah, let's go with Toons because I think Bob Haskins does such a great performance. I
yeah,
mean, he'd
because I was
probably
like
be everyone's
Bob.
pick.
Yeah, I was like, he's definitely my favorite. Out of the tunes, that'd probably be the Taxi Cab too. He just he's just memorable and like I like him, and like Yemmy said, the car driving a car.
Yeah.
Being
Then they all
imprisoned in a car.
all of them are arguing who's gonna drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to drive.
Underrated character in the movie though, the gorilla.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
body,
bouncer
yeah, the
dude?
bouncer gorilla.
Oh man.
I love
The
his
Bonga.
voice. Yeah, and then that's also one of those scenes that it's like you kind of can tell Bob is like on like some sort of rig, but they did a pretty good job of superimposing that gorilla on top of him. It looked
Yeah.
pretty natural when he threw him out of the back. Threw him out of the back right to Jessica Rabbit's window,
I
mind you.
know, I was gonna say, dude, how convenient, right? And how dangerous. You have your star person's window with alley access.
Well, don't
Anyone could
forget
come
that it
in.
was all a setup by Maroon to do blackmail
Oh,
onto Acme. So maybe he instructed
right.
Jessica to keep that window open.
Yeah,
True,
probably.
true.
That's the whole big conspiracy. It's so much fun when it all kind of starts to come together at the end,
Yeah. I mean, it's a good detective movie, standalone, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally watch this without the tunes in it. I think it would still kind of be a real good detective story. You could replace all the tunes with human characters, and you would lose a lot of the charm of the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I think the core of the movie's story would still be really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I think you'd have to change some things like the dip and
Nah, keep the dip. Nah.
just want to make sense.
Classic.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to mention?
I'm good.
We talked about all House's points, correct?
Well, he didn't really give us points. He just gave us his final thoughts, but I think we've bounced off of everything that he kind of mentions.
Okay.
He did mention, which kind of took me off guard, and maybe someone agrees with him. He says it was a little rough around the edges. Obviously, I don't know. I can't like completely agree with the movie's rough. Because I think it's very impressive, and I think it still looks really good to today's standards, even. Obviously, like I said earlier,
That does
when
sound
when
okay.
you're zoomed out, the animation doesn't look as good, with the little tiny characters on the screen. But I guess I just can't 100% agree with like it's rough.
Yeah, we'll got to get his clarification on that.
Yeah, yeah, he'll talk about it in the next episode for sure.
Yeah, you could. Well, I guess you could. Like you said, the zoomed out parts are probably the only rough parts, but any interaction between animation and real life when it's up close, they did. It's a really really smooth, good job. Like seriously.
Okay, I think that about wraps it up. What do you guys think?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
All right, let's go over our final thoughts and rating out of 5. And it's going to go me, and then I would like Odom to go after me, just so the guest can get his words in as well. So I'll start off, of course, though. Obviously, I'm a big sucker for this movie. It's been a favorite of mine since I was a young child, and it surprised me how long it's been since I've actually watched the movie. It's actually probably been close to 20 or so, well, maybe more like 15 or so years now since I've actually sat down to watch the movie. And it's just it's held up quite nicely. Obviously, like I said earlier, like anything that kind of happens in the movie, it is like a period piece mixed in with that comedic detective story. I think the movie just works really well all together. There's not much more else I can say. If you haven't already guessed, it's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Wow, 5 out of 5. I think the movie when you first mentioned watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I immediately thought of my childhood, and when I watched it around the age of like 9 or 10. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was a hardcore detective movie like that. I just liked what I saw. It was aesthetically pleasing. The style, the cartoons, the bringing together of all the cartoons that I liked. That was the main thing. But I definitely enjoyed it a million times more watching it as somewhat of an adult because I got like a lot of the plot points. I got the darker side of the story. I got more of the adult humor. It's I think it was just really great. Great writing, great acting, like really, really great acting, and great cinematography as well. Just a lot of really good shots, and a lot of really good subtext in there. Just great overall. I would definitely give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, I'll go next. Yeah, you guys hit all my favorite things. The acting was phenomenal. I thought, just the whole collab of like everything in the movie, it was just great. It was one of those movies where you just like you don't want to nitpick it because it's supposed to be goofy, it's supposed to be not serious, and they did a good job of setting that example right off the bat with the beginning with the whole kitchen and then Roger, getting fired and all that. So they did a good job. And then I do remember watching this as I was a younger kid, but I didn't watch it fully, just saw parts here and there. But it is also cool to like understand, like my childhood growing up watching Looney Tunes and all that, and then the human interaction and now understanding the adult side of it and like the detective portion of it. That was really cool. And I like the ending. The ending was threw me off. I forgot that the judge was the evil Looney Tune, so that was pretty cool, and the whole movie was just chaotic at the whole time, and it was a fun watch. And I'm gonna get it also a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree with, pretty much everything that's been said. I have watched it as an adult, not recently, but I don't remember when, but I just remember seeing it as an adult and kind of going, having that whole like, oh, this is a lot darker than I remember as a kid. Um, but yeah, cinematography was great, acting was really good, and just the blending, blending everything together was great. So overall, yeah, I will also give it a 4.5 out of 5.
And Callus did send us his review, so I'm going to go ahead and read that real quick, and obviously he'll expand on his thoughts in the next episode. But he said he thought the movie was rough around the edges, but still impressive considering when it came out. Good pacing and fun all the way through. Good animation, especially Jessica Rabbit. Still amazed that Disney and Looney Tunes characters blended together for this movie with a lot of adult humor. And he gave it a 4 out of 5. He's breaking my heart. This guy over here.
The lowest one.
But yeah, like I said, he'll give he'll give more thoughts next episode, obviously. But yeah, looks. I mean, we're all kind of in the same range. Obviously, I think maybe my nostalgia blinds me a little bit, but I mean, I love the movie. I can't give it anything lower than a 5. Come on,
That's fine.
And also, before Greedy Waffles introduces his movie, just want to give a huge thank you to Odom for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure having you on.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I like being on here a lot. You guys are really fun and really nice, and you pick pretty cool movies to watch. I'm not gonna lie. So thank you very much for having me.
We will
Make
definitely
sure
have
you,
you on have you on again for sure. And next time it won't be over 100 episodes after the last time.
No, no, that's completely fine, dude. I'm just here sitting on my hands. Don't worry about it.
and keep giving us recommendations.
Oh yeah.
All right, Greedy.
All right, so I'm also gonna go back to the nostalgia days. I'm gonna pick a little bit of a lengthier movie, which is all right. So I'm gonna pick Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm pretty sure we all know the premise of it, but I'll go ahead and say it anyways. A meek hobbit from the Shire and 8 companions set out on a journey to destroy the powerful One Ring and save Middle Earth from the Dark Lord Sauron. Directed by Peter Jackson, and it's based off of a book from J.R.R. Tolkien. some of the great cast here: Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Orlando Bloom, Sean Bean, Alan Howard, Christopher Lee. There's a whole bunch of good actors in here. Billy Boyd.
Sean Astin.
Yeah, Sean Astin. That was about to be the next one. But yeah, so I haven't seen it in a while. I was always a fan of the trilogies, so it'd be a
So,
good.
are we
read.
watching the extended version or the theatrical version?
We'll just watch.
I don't.
I have the regular, so let's just watch the regular. Unless
Okay.
you guys
I was-
want the extended.
Theatrical. We'll just do the theatrical. Obviously, the extended versions do add more to the movies.
Yeah.
So I guess
Oh,
it-
I just
I mean,
I
if-
just wasn't sure like on stream if I watch it on streaming which version they have. So
Honestly, you could probably watch either version. The conversation is probably going to be about the same.
Right
yeah.
on disc, so that's how I'll be watching it.
Also, the 20th anniversary was recently. It was last year, so it's good timing.
Yeah,
Really 20. Man.
Yeah, I remember
Oh, yeah,
watching.
this
I
did
remember
come out
watching
in
these
2001.
movies when I was young, and I was Greedy Waffles, and I would reenact Helm's Deep. He had like a dirt pile in his yard. Reenact
Nice.
Helm's Deep with plastic swords and stuff. Wow, that was a really fun
Bows.
time.
Yeah.
Bows and arrows.
So if
Yeah, I
you,
guess.
the listener, wants to join the conversation about the Fellowship of the Ring from 2001, just watch it before the next episode airs in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll be back to talk about the Lord of the Rings. Okay. I guess that's it. Anyone else have anything they want to say before we end the show? Odom?
Check out Odom on stream.
Yes, twitch.tv/OdomK, as in kitty. And that K as in Odom so cute. Wait, that's a C. But
That's a C,
That's a
bro.
C. You screwed up.
No, it's all
And
good.
make
Thank
sure every time you do go to his stream, make sure you duel him. He loves his duels.
Come
also
on, man. Don't expose me.
recommend Michael Jackson grunts when he's doing
No.
song recommendations. Odom also loves Cotton Eye Joe. It's one of his favorite
do, actually.
jams.
Yeah, it's a good one. Thank you for requesting that. Not the grunts though. I
Ah.
swear, man.
He had to clarify there. Damn it.
I
Alrighty,
know.
well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with,
Grady Waffles.
Daymation.
OdomK.
and we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening.
Chill,
Bye
wipe
bye.
your ass.
Bye bye. Yeah, clean your ass or something. I don't remember now.